Okay, so here's what you're gonna need for the meatballs. You're gonna need your ground chuck, some ground pork. You can leave that out. Some onion, some garlic, egg, Parmesan cheese, olive oil, and panko, salt and pepper, and some crushed red pepper. And that's it. Okay, so here I have my ground chuck, my pork, some Parmesan cheese, Italian seasoning, onion, garlic, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and an egg over there. So you're just gonna mix that all together. Oh, and I have the breadcrumbs right here. Or dirty hands, whatever you want to do. I ain't got to eat it. It don't matter to me. I'm just gonna mix this. Alright, so you want to make sure you are mixing it in. Okay, so now you want to add about a couple tablespoons of olive oil and mix it in. And then you're going to preheat your oven to 400. And then you're going to get an ice cream scoop. Excuse me. You can make them as big or as small as you want. It's up to you. Actually, you can even mince your onion if you want. And I'm just going to put them on a sheet tray. So I have some left, and here's so there's about 45 on there, plus there's some in the tray still, in the bowl still. So okay, so now for the sauce. Some onion. You're gonna use a large onion, garlic. I got about 8 garlic cloves, some olive oil, crushed red pepper, some chopped tomatoes. If you can find no salt added, these have sea salt, but if you can find the no salt added, and then you're gonna use some crushed tomatoes, some tomato paste, black pepper and salt, and also some rosemary, oregano, basil, and thyme. Or you can just use Italian seasoning and some parsley. You can just use some Italian seasoning if you want. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so you're going to heat your pot up. You always want to let your pot heat up first, and then you're going to add your oil. Quite a bit of oil. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. And then you're going to add in your onion. Alright, so now I'm going to add some salt to the onion and some pepper. You're going to need to season every stage. You're going to need to season. Okay, there you go. Okay, so now you're gonna add in your garlic. Make sure you get all that garlic in there as much as you can. I mean, you can use as much garlic as you want. If you're not a fan of garlic, you don't have to use garlic at all, but I would suggest using a little bit. So you're gonna saute that for a few minutes to let that garlic flavor get into that oil. And now with this sauce, I do add tomato paste. I add tomato paste because I love the richness that tomato paste gives it. Here I'm adding crushed red pepper. So I do like the addition of the tomato paste. You don't have to add tomato paste if you don't want, okay? This recipe is very versatile. It's very forgiving. You can use fresh tomatoes if you want, about 10 or 12 pounds, peeled and cored, of course, or you can just peel them and put them in there and crush them with a food, what is it called? The little hand immersion blender. You can do that. And I add my tomato paste at this point because I like for it to cook a little bit. And I like for it to cook a little bit. And what I do is I let it saute for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I move on from there. Okay, so now that has sauteed for about 10 minutes, I come in and I check it to make sure it's, and I add in my tomatoes. I do not drain these tomatoes. I add it in, add the juice and all. I add all 6 cans, crushed and chopped tomatoes. And then I add water into the cans and, to get all the excess out of there. So I stir it, and then you add I'm going to put it on medium high so it can start simmering and bubbling, and I add in my salt and all my seasonings. Garlic powder, onion powder, you can add Italian seasoning, whatever you want to add to it. You can put whatever. Another good thing to add to this that I do sometimes is the Lipton onion soup mix, the Italian herb blend. That's really good in here. I didn't have any of that, but I do also add that in sometimes. That is really good. So you're gonna add. I didn't add in Italian seasoning. I just added them in separately because I couldn't find the Italian seasoning, so I just added my stuff in separately. Now I'm gonna let this cook. This sauce simmered for about 4 hours. It simmered for a long time, and it was really good. So you let it simmer all day if you want. Send out the kids off to school, put it on that morning, and let it simmer all day. Just keep checking it so it's not burning, but yeah. Okay, so now I got a pot, and I got my meatballs. And I like to add in a little bit of the oil. Alright, so I got my sauce over here still simmering away. So now I'm going to add my sauce, some of my sauce into here. Alright, so you're just going to add some, not all of it, unless you need all of it. I don't need all of it. This is going to be enough. Because instead of mixing my pasta in here, I got my pasta draining. I'm going to toss it with some oil. And I'm just going to add my sauce and my meatballs on top of my pasta. And they can mix it on their plate. So I'm going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes. To reheat those meatballs, and then I'm gonna plate it. I'm gonna cover it and let that simmer, and I'll be back. Okay, so I got some pasta on the plate. This is coming for Junior. I just add some sauce. That is the consistency of the sauce. Now, my sauce is a little spicy. You don't have to do yours as spicy as mine. But we like spicy stuff in this house. And I just grate some fresh Parmesan cheese in there. And that is that. Okay. I just want to thank y'all so much for watching. I hope that each and every one of you are well. I hope that y'all try this recipe and let me know what you think. I will see y'all next time. I love y'all. Bye.